Obviously guys, I share my dosages on here. I've kind of questioned in the past whether I should just give the drugs or should I give the drugs and the dosages, because I don't want people who are just getting into bodybuilding out there to go off and copy me or anything like that. But I feel like people who actually watch my videos, they have a little bit more common sense than that, because I've kind of spoke about all this stuff all the time, and I've shared my previous cycles from when I started up to now, and my drug use is very low and it's kind of progressed upwards as I've moved along. So do not copy what I am doing. This is specific to me, to my prep, to my level of musculature, to where I'm at in my journey, to what my goals actually are. But I always think when I make these videos and, when I kind of share my own prep and my own journey, I always want to watch content that I wish I could have watched back in the day, and not that I was nosy about, what are other people taking? Because it doesn't really matter, and it wouldn't have really mattered to me. But I appreciate the kind of honesty and transparency in other people. And to be honest, I'm the sort of guy, I don't really give a fuck. Like, I'll just say whatever. I'll just put it out there. If someone says, you're responsible, you shouldn't be sharing your dosages, I'm just like, you do you, fuck off. I'll do whatever way I want. And that's just the way I am. I just don't really care. It's like, I'll share it if I want to share it. I've got nothing to hide. I don't really care what anyone's opinions are. So, I'll just put it out there. And I feel like some people might appreciate that, some people might not. I know other guys who choose not to share their dosages, which is fine, probably because they don't want their clients to be copying them, and I certainly don't want my clients to be copying me. And then there's other people who won't share their dosages because they're probably crazy high. Now, I'm not saying my dosages aren't high, because they certainly fucking are. But again, it's been a progressive lead up to this point. So that's my little ramble on the drugs and the dosages anyway. But yes guys, how are we? Welcome back to another YouTube video. We are 3 weeks out. Well, actually we are 2.5 weeks out now, and as you will have seen from the title of this video, we are going to get into the juicy details today. So I'm going to be running through my current stack and also the stack adjustments that we are going to be making as we head in closer to the show, okay, and the kind of manipulations that we're, doing, and the kind of rationale kind of behind those. So I'll just run over kind of what I was currently doing before this week. So my cycle was at 350 milligrams of test, 800 milligrams of primo, 1 gram of mast, 100 grams of tren. Alongside that, we had 50 milligrams of anavar, 25 milligrams of winstrol, and 10 mg of halo. So the halo and winstrol were only added in like the week before that, I believe. So it's been, kind of very short, since a short space of time since we actually added those in, but the visual differences has been extreme in terms of like hardness and graininess, etc. Obviously I have gotten leaner, but now heading into this week, we are 3 weeks out, right? So the adjustments to the stack that we've made is we've actually pulled the test down from 350 to 200 mgs, and we've bumped the primo up from 800 to a gram, right? So what we're kind of taking away from the test, we're putting to the primo, and the whole reasoning behind this is you can hold a little bit of water with test, so hopefully this should help to dry us out a little bit more. Also, we currently have 6 IUs of GH in. Next week, we're going to be pulling that down to 2 IUs, and then just when we start peak week and we start loading up, we're going to completely remove that. Now, the reason we're doing this is because that can tend to hold a little bit of water as well, especially when you are consuming a lot of carbohydrates. So we're going to pull that out completely. This is something I've never done before, and for me personally, I know a lot of people get like kind of very watery and their weight spikes up hugely when they take GH. I'm not really one of those people. Like, I don't generally tend to retain much water at all, if I'm perfectly honest. Even when I take compounds like NPP and stuff in my off season, and even when my test is quite high, I don't like, puff up like a water buffalo. I don't get that kind of swelled face. I'm still like pretty kind of like tight, for the off season, I suppose. So I don't generally tend to hold that much water anyway. But if the GH does, contribute to a tiny bit of the water I hold, and the test does contribute to a tiny bit of the water I hold, and I'm this lean this now, and I still have some more body fat to go, and we make those adjustments, and we pull the water down a little bit, we pull the salt down a little bit, the look should be fairly fucking gnarly by the time we actually step on stage. So that's exactly what we're going to do, guys. In terms of kind of like additional bits that we have in, telmisartan has been at 80 micrograms the whole way through prep. That's just for blood pressure management, and that can actually help with water retention as well. We also have metformin in there for kind of blood sugar regulation. That is in the evening time, and oxidative stress at 500 mgs. T4 is at 150 micrograms, T3 is at 37.5, and Clen is at 120 micrograms. Now the Clen is something we probably will pull down to probably like 40 or maybe even 20 when we do the peak, or we may even remove it completely. Probably not completely, as I think when you take Clen, it can kind of affect your electrolyte balance very slightly. So we'll probably just keep some Clen in there, but it will be kind of pulled down as we're peaking and as we're loading up. So this peak is going to be like a huge learning experience for me as a bodybuilder and as a coach. So for the MK Classic, you know, I'm obviously on stage multiple times as I'm doing multiple classes. Then Chloe is competing later on that evening. So I'm going to be on stage early in the morning. I'm going to have a little break. I'm going to be on stage in the afternoon. Then after that, I have like a big break before I watch Chloe. And then after that, the following day, the following morning, I have a show in Manchester. So I'm doing like back-to-back peaks. So I've been a little bit stressed about like, how are we going to manage that? Because obviously the morning of the show, I'm only going to be having like, you know, quite small meals, like very little water, etc. And then I have a fucking show the next day. So I don't want to be flat, you know, I still want to be kind of full, whatever. So I think a rough kind of plan that Kuba has in mind is, you know, after I'm off stage, literally just go and have burger and fries, just get something like really calorie dense into me that day. Potentially, if I need to, take a quarter of Diazide the night before the PCA Manchester show, then just see what I look like the next day. So it's kind of like very good. I'm kind of glad we're kind of doing this, because, you know, the whole burger, fries and the Diazide, like it's like the classic like online coach, old school kind of bro thing to do. But you just don't know how your body responds to certain things until you try them. And a big part of this prep for me was to do multiple shows, to do multiple peaks, and, you know, to kind of take different compounds I'd never taken before and kind of see what works well for me and kind of learn my body a little bit more, so that when I go into my next season, which I'm hoping to be highly competitive for, I know I have those lessons from these peaks to bring with me into those and just constantly improve as a bodybuilder. And, you know, you even see guys at the Olympia level who kind of still can't actually nail their peak. So I think it is important that you can learn your body. You know, for the MK, we're going to be doing like same as the diet break, just a week-long linear load, the exact same foods I've been eating the whole time. Maybe just some like muffins and Rice Krispie squares on top of that, just to keep like, you know, food volume in the stomach down. And then we'll just kind of see what I look like for that show. And then afterwards, it'll be like, you know, the dirty, sodium dense, higher calorie meal, and then maybe the Diazide to flush it off. And we'll see how I look then at the PCA Manchester the next day. I could look worse, I could look better, but there's only one way to find out. So, you know, it's really fucking exciting for me that I get to kind of trial these different things. And obviously then after, you know, the PCA Manchester, we're going to be able to have a little bit of downtime. We have sushi booked that evening. We're going to go out. I'm going to eat my fucking body weight in sushi, all you can eat sushi. I'm going to go absolutely in. And then after that, we are literally straight back on plan, because we have the PCA Ireland 2 weeks later, okay? And I'm not really sure what the plan of action is for that show yet. I'm probably going to run through that in a later video, but I have the data from the first two peaks, you know, what went well, what didn't, maybe feedback from the judges, what areas could I improve on, do I need to be fuller, do I need to be more conditioned, and then we have a short window to, you know, try and improve the look for the PCA Ireland. So after, you know, that sushi on the Saturday evening, you know, I'm probably going to have like Monday to Sunday before I have to like peak for the Ireland show again. Or will I? I don't really know yet. I might be in a position where I'm so lean, I go out, I eat that sushi, I go back to baseline for 2 or 3 days, drop off the water, and then I just have the look, and it's just about maintaining that look. So my food might even go up after that, and I might even like reverse diet into the Ireland show. You know, like if I achieve the condition that I want for the first two shows, and, you know, there's no way I could kind of get any more peeled without me maybe sacrificing the fullness, then we might reverse up into the show. Like, I don't know. Like, ideally for me, I would like to trial, like, reversing up into a show, because I always look my best. Like, when I do a mini cut with Kuba, I always look like my best when I'm like 2 weeks post mini cut. It's like, I'm full, I'm like hard, I'm vascular, but I still haven't lost any leanness, and I don't really hold any water, like I kind of mentioned to you. So yeah, we'll just kind of see what happens, and we'll see what we're going to do for that show. But I think I just need to not get too ahead of myself and actually just focus on the first couple of shows first. So, but very exciting times ahead, guys. So I actually checked in with Kuba this morning, sent him my pictures, fasted, and I was looking pretty good, right? I was happy with the look, sent it across to him, and he did mention that, like, you know, he didn't really feel the need to like push me any further just for the sake of it if I didn't need to be pushed, because, you know, my average body weight is down 1.5 kilos already, and I've only had 3 weigh-ins this week. And I do think I'm going to drop again tomorrow, as, you know, that's kind of normally the trend I see after rest days, and after my body weight stays consistent for 2 days, I normally get a drop, and that's what's happened over the last 2 days. So, you know, I do expect to be in the 90s tomorrow. I think I was 91.2 or 3 this morning or something like that. So yeah, I'm small. I'm pretty small at the moment. But look, at least I'm getting to the condition that I actually want to get at. Now, Kuba asked me to check in with him again at 1 p.m. So I've done that. It's currently 2:30. I'm just waiting on his feedback. He actually put some pictures up on Instagram, and he actually shared the pictures on Instagram. But he hasn't got back to me on WhatsApp yet. So I'll assume that he is training, but looking forward to hearing what he has to say. You know, when we checked in this morning, he said, I'm not really, you know, going to push you if you don't need to be pushed. I did actually say to him, like, look, I don't care. I will do whatever. We have a short time frame. I think after today, I have like 9 days left of dieting, you know, before I actually need to start my peak. So it's fuck all, really. I'm kind of like up and down. Like yesterday, I was smashed, felt absolutely terrible. It was the hardest day, one of the hardest days on prep. It was the first day all prep. I was like, okay, I'm actually hungry today. Like, now this is actual proper hunger, because I haven't even said I'm hungry the whole prep, because genuinely, I actually haven't been. But today, I'm fine. Appetite is fine. Energy levels are good. I don't feel like I have as much brain fog. Mood is much better. So yeah, it's just funny. Prep is just like a roller coaster. It's up and down. But look, we'll see what he says. And I think if my body weight does drop tomorrow sharply, which I think it will, he probably won't push me on further. But if he does, he does. You know, I'm ready for it either way. It's hard because as an athlete, you know, you always want to push. Like you want to push really hard. And I was talking to one of the lads, another guy on Kuba's team, and he said, you know, if it was you and you were coaching you and you were in this situation, would you make the change? And I was like, that's a fair point. I actually wouldn't. So you kind of just have to take your, you know, athlete hat off and just put your trust in your coach. And I completely trust Kuba 110%. You know, this prep has been so well run, so well managed. I've been so happy with everything. You know, I'm kind of seeing other people's preps unfold around me, and I have seen other people's preps unfold around me. And, you know, there's been some messiness there and some things I haven't agreed with, but, you know, I can honestly, hand on my heart, say that this has just been the smoothest prep, the best experience, the most enjoyable experience ever. And I'm just really looking forward to getting on stage and just presenting the final package. And you know, hopefully it'll be something pretty decent and something worthy of a result. So yeah, I definitely rambled a little bit there. This was a long clip. Not sure what else I'm going to put in this video, or whether it'll just be this, guys. Could just be a lazy one this week, as, you know, like I said, the energy levels are a little bit up and down. But I'll keep you posted if there is any more updates back from the boss himself. And I'll catch you in a little bit. All right, my people, what's happening? So we are back. It is now Friday, 2 days after I would have recorded the last clip. And I didn't get that big drop yesterday that I was anticipating, but I did get it today. 90.3 kilos. So dropped a kilo overnight, and I certainly fucking felt it. As you can see here, my fucking face is after losing about 3 kilos in the last week. Since last Monday, I'm down 4.8 kg. It is Friday today. So 4.8 kg in, like, you know, 12 days. So pretty rapid drop in weight there. And you know, we're really pushing now. We're really digging. So I checked in again with Kuba this morning, and he was really happy with where we're at, really happy with, you know, how we're looking condition wise. And he also actually mentioned that he was kind of like, you know, you're losing weight quite quickly. He's like, I'm not going to push you anymore. And then he actually said that, if anything, well, not if anything, but he was like, you don't need a refeed now. Let's just kind of keep doing what you're doing. But there may potentially be one needed to kind of slow down the rate of loss before we actually even start my peak next week. So who knows? Maybe I'm actually ahead of schedule. But I said to him, I was like, look, mate, I genuinely don't care. It's 7 days. I am willing to just push and dig to get this condition. But he said, you know, take it easy, because, like, bodybuilding is a push and pull, and this has been my biggest learning from this prep. Okay, you can't just keep digging and digging and digging, and I think I don't want to push to the point where I start losing tissue, or I start like losing fullness from like my good body parts and stuff like that. Because even at the moment, you know, chest is a little bit flat, shoulders are very flat, but my back has flattened off a ton. And that's one thing I've noticed this prep, like I never really noticed it before, is that when I get flat, my back just really softens off, like my erectors, and in particular my traps. Like when I'm full, my traps are like twice the size. I've been looking at my rear relax lately, and I'm like, that just like doesn't hit like it used to. That's like one of my best shots even in my off season. And I think it's just because I am so flat, right? But we're in a good position, guys. You know, we're almost fucking there. So it's getting very exciting. I'm just going to wrap the video up here. Just make it a quick one, make it a lazy one. Just going to get this scheduled to upload now today. And we'll kind of see what's happening over the next couple of days, guys, as tomorrow will be 2 weeks out actually. So I'm a little bit late with this 3 weeks out vlog, but I will start probably documenting things on a little bit more of a like day-to-day kind of basis as the week is going on, now that we're getting very close to show, as I imagine there will be quite a lot of changes. Like I said, I'm checking in with Kuba daily, etc. So I'm going to try and record as much footage as I possibly can so I can kind of stay really on it with any adjustments that we are kind of making. But if you've made it this far, guys, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to drop a comment. I actually got my haircut today, switched it up a little bit as well. I don't think I'm going to go back to the curls again, guys. I think I'm going to leave it with a little bit of a shorter kind of a haircut. So let me know what you think. Comment, smash or pass down below, and also share the video with your friends. I know this was a little bit of a probably taboo video because I kind of went over my cycle and my dosages and shit like that, but look, it is what it is. If you found it educational, if you found it useful, give it a share. I would really appreciate it, and we will catch you in the next one.